CHE viewers, welcome to this episode of Counseling for Higher Education. During the past few weeks, I received many requests to go through Curriculum Vitae or resume, and that's why we have decided to organize this session regarding how to build an effective Curriculum Vitae. And through this episode, I would give you some information, some survey regarding building an effective CV. So I welcome you all, and let's start this session. So I will go through that what I'm going to deliver this episode, and then I will start the importance and the reasons, as well as how you can build an effective CV, what should be included, and how you should include all those important things inside your CV. What should the length, all these things in today's video. So the first CV, you will be surprised to know that it was built by Leonardo da Vinci, and that was even 500 years ago. So that was the first CV, and from that moment many professionals, students, young graduates, they build, and it is advisable to build CV, and then through that CV you can use it to apply it to many academic positions, to many industrial jobs, and in many different sectors. So a CV is considered to be a most convenient way of application. Like, you configure your entire biodata, entire curriculum in a single document, and that document is a kind of a marketing document. So your CV is a marketing document that you are going to market yourself, you are going to launch yourself into the market. So you have to consider a very important aspect into your mind when you begin building your CV, is that you have to treat your recruiters as a child. You have to tell them and narrate them about yourself, about your skill, about your educational background, about your professional qualifications, your interests, your hobbies. And you have to take this into consideration, that you have to highlight important information in your CV. You need not to write a complete essay of yourself, because that would take more than 10 or 20 pages. No, you have to be very concise, and at the same time you have to be very informative, and that you can achieve by using and presenting the information in bullet points. But remember, there is no one best way that anybody can say that if you prepare your CV this way, then you are going to win a job position, or you are going to win any academic position. No, there is no one best way. So it depends upon person to person. It depends upon the sectors, industrial sectors or academic sectors. It depends upon where you want to focus. So you have to consider this aspect as well, that there is no one best way to build a CV. So whatever I'm going to present, it's my opinion, as well as you can find on internet, you can Google as well. The main important aspect is that what are you going to present in the CV? What is the information that you are going to give it to the recruiters, whether they are industrial, whether they are academic, it depends. So according to survey, the information that a CV should contain, from increasing to decreasing, is like the work experience. It constitutes 45% of your entire CV. So you have to give much more stress on your work experience, and that is more roughly half of your CV. So if you have a previous work experience, then you should focus on your work experience. Then you should try to put those experiences in a detailed manner, and as well as in a bullet points. Then there comes 35% of information is covered by qualifications and skills. What qualification do you hold, and what are the skills that you learned or that you gathered in these years of your work or your academic excellence or your pursuance of any degrees? This one. Then there comes the information from the CV that must come out is like how much easier to read. If a recruiter is not finding it easier to read your CV, then it's a very bad impression. So you have to consider this point, that it should be easier to read. It should be more precise and concise. It should not be very vague. It should not be very crowded. It should be in a well presented bullet points. Then 16% of information goes to accomplishments. What did you accomplish in your past, like in your academic life, in your degrees, in your professional experience? What did you accomplish? Did you accomplish any project? Did you accomplish any degree? Did you accomplish any industrial tender? Did you accomplish any event? So you have to take care of this, and you have to include these accomplishments in your CV. That covers 16% of the entire portion of the CV. Then one of the very important point is that you have to very much you have to give your stress and focus upon the spelling and grammar of your sentences that you build in the CV, because I will tell you later that spelling and grammar actually constitute 61% chance of rejection. So you have to take care it very seriously. Then there comes education, your educational background, your educational qualification, that covers 9%. Then objective and contact information gradually goes from 3% to 1%. So these are the information that is like in a percentage way that should go in your CV. So as I told earlier, that experience, interests and achievements, they constitute roughly more than 50%. So experience have 45%, and then there comes your skills and achievements, that goes like 35%. So 75% of your CV is being covered by these 3 points that are experience, interest and achievements. So you have to take it very seriously that you should not include your photograph when you are going to apply for United States and United Kingdom, UK, because including photograph on your CV is not considered good if you are going to apply for US and UK, unless and until you are involved in some kind of acting profession. But yes, if you include your photograph for France, Germany, Belgium and some other European countries, then it's fine. It's good, it's okay. But you have to take care of this. When you are talking about your experience, then you should use these kinds of index terms or these kinds of keywords like you planned something, like you developed some project, you collected and gathered some experience by working and by finishing one project or one skills. And it is very important that if you relate your skills that you gather all these years with your job, then it's very fantastic. So you have to relate those skills that you're going to write in the section skills and expertise. You should relate it with your job, that while doing this job I acquired these leadership skills, I acquired these presentation skills, I acquired management skills when you were involved in some kind of activity with your job. Now it is very equally important to highlight interests and achievements. Interests, that shows your hobbies, and that also shows your extracurricular activities apart from your academic and as well as professional life, and that gives a good impression upon the recruiters when you are going to submit your CV to them. So it should be short and to the point. It should not be like a very elaborate way that you perform this task and you enjoy doing this. Use it in, again, bullet points. Bullet points is a very good way of communication when you want to attract the attention of the recruiters. Then don't put the boring cliche like you like reading and writing and sports. Instead, if you like reading, then you mention you like reading this book or that book. Mention the name of the books. If you like cinema, then you say something like you were involved in coordination of as a coordinator of your cinema club or film club of your university. If you like sports, then you say that you are the sport secretary of your college or university, or something like this. So don't put just like you like reading, writing, and sports, all this. Instead, you elaborate them. Then if you get a chance to present an evidence of leadership skills, then it's very fantastic, it's very good, by showing that you try to organize an event, and then you were convener, or you were treasurer, or you were president of that event. And if you have an extraordinary hobby, then it also gives a very good impression upon the recruiter. And very much we should concentrate also on those hobbies which are related to your employability skills. For example, teamwork. If you develop these kinds of hobbies, organizing and planning something, then this is also very important. Then comes the skills and references. Skills and references are also effective means of presenting yourself to the recruiter, because with those skills you are going to apply for that particular position. So number one, there are usual skills. The usual skills that you can include is driving, like computing, you know Microsoft Excel or Microsoft Office, then PowerPoint, etc. Then others usual skills are languages. How many languages do you know? Do you know English or French or German or some other language? Then these are usual skills that you should write down in your CV. Then there are skills which are skills based CV. So if you are planning for a technical job or for a technical position, then you should have a CV that is mainly focused on your technical skills, and it is good for experienced candidate. Sometimes there are confusion that you should provide references in your CV or not. So I would say that it depends upon the place where you're going to apply, and you can put references and you cannot. It depends. So if the recruiter asks to submit any references, then you should give. Otherwise, it's not so mandatory. It's not so necessary. And even if you want to give references, then you should include at least 2 references, one from academic field and another from your employer. That would give complete your CV in terms of references. And this is about the references that you should include. It depends. You should check with your recruiter and with your employer where you're going to apply. Then there are more than one type of CV when you're going to apply for more than one type of work. So your CV should have been tailored for different types of work that you're going to apply. So for different type of position, you should have a different CV targeting the particular position, targeting the particular skills that they require. And the CV also include a personal profile at the very top. And this personal profile is important when you're going to apply for a job that is in a competitive industry, for a very big industry. So you should have a precise and concise personal profile that highlights your intentions and your passion. And always remember that whenever you're going to submit a CV, you must attach a cover letter. Cover letter is kind of a summary that gives an overall view of your candidature to the recruiter. Then moving towards the length and the type of CV, I would say that there is no absolute rules. So the length of the CV, it can be something like if there is a fresh graduate, if you're a fresh graduate, then it should not go more than 2 pages. But if you're an experienced candidate, then you can extend your number of pages to 3 or 4 as well, because it is known that the recruiters, they don't have enough time to read the entire complete pages, like 4 or 5 or 6 pages. So you should try to concise, and you should try to put all those information in a very limited environment. Then if you are going to apply for academic and technical positions, then your CV can go up to 4 to 5 pages, and always remember to use bullet points to present your experience, your project, and your research, your educational backgrounds, and make your CV readable. If your CV is not readable, then nobody is going to read your CV. Nobody is going to waste time on your CV. So it should be very, very readable. It should be very in a good readable mode. Then moving towards the type of CV, then there are major 2 types of CV. One is chronological based CV, where you give date based order of your work that you did in your past, and then there are skills based CV. So depending upon the industry that you are focusing, you should prepare your CV based on this, either chronological or skills based. Then there are a situation that when you have a very good CV and you have a very good experience, and you submit your CV to any job position, either academic or in industry, and then you got a rejection later, then what are the points that you should consider? And it is from the survey that you should think upon it so that you should not be rejected. So the number 1 is a spelling mistake. A spelling mistake counts 61% of the total rejection. So if your CV has lots of spelling mistake and typo errors, then you should consider revising your CV. You should go for the spell checker. Use any kind of platform to spell check your CV. Then if you are copying large amounts of data from some other CV, some other internet platform, then it accounts for 41% of the rejection chances. If you provide an inappropriate email, then it will account for 35% of rejection, because the recruiter will try to contact you through your email, and if the email is not correct, then they will not be able to contact you, and that's why you will be easily rejected. Then list of skills. You should include list of skills in your CV, which accounts for 30% of rejection. So if your skills are less than 30, if your skills you do not include, then you will be rejected. And if you prepare your CV on a decorative paper, then it will account for 20% of rejection. If you're including photos and large blocks of text, then it will account for 13% chance of rejection. So you should consider these points when you are building your CV. What are the common mistakes when you build a CV? Then as I told, the common mistakes is spelling mistakes and the grammar mistakes. So that is like 56% of the total mistakes accounts for from this spelling and the grammar mistakes. And if your CV is not tailored for the required job, then it will account for 21% of the mistakes the candidates do when they prepare their CV and submit it. If you have a poor work history, and if you do not include your work history in a very detailed manner, then it is also kind of a mistake. But if you do not use bullet points, if you do not use a proper format, then it will account for 11%. And if you did not include accomplishment, then the mistakes in this portion is like 9%. The common mistakes is also like contact and email problems, which accounts for 8%. If you have a very vague objective, then it will account for 5%. And there are candidates who lie, that accounts for 2%. So this was a session today, viewers, regarding the counseling for higher education to build an effective CV. And I think this will help you to build a very good CV, but it is my opinion, and you should also consider your opinion and some other opinion as well when you're going to build a CV. Thank you very much, and I'm very sure that this session is going to help you in building a very good CV and will help you to give you good opportunities in future. Thank you very much.